A Russian national has been indicted for making false statements to the FBI. He is the main source behind the Steele dossier to Christopher Steele, working alongside another individual, Charles Dolan, who is a close associate of the Clintons.
Dolan not only has really close connections with the Clintons, he has a close connection with the Russian government. His firm was handling the press relations for the Russian government. And what Durham is saying is that many of the most salacious, most reported facts out of or claimed facts out of the Steele dossier came from him, not from a source in Russia, came from this PR figure with close ties to Clinton. So we're seeing all of these different layers of connections with the Clinton campaign. And that mosaic is now coming clearer into view.
Well, the mosaic is this was a fraud on the American people. There was no collusion between the Trump campaign and the Russians, but the Russians were in close collusion with Russian nationals, Russian government, press people, and the Clinton campaign to hurt President Trump.
Department of Justice website. Russian national indicted for making false statements to the FBI. His name, he's been running around. There's no way he was running around without them knowing about Igor Danchenko.
How did the FBI miss this? How did Robert Mueller miss this?
That's another story.
How did the media miss this? They missed it because they were predisposed to find President Trump guilty in the absence of evidence.
He is in the United States.
Yes.
He lives in Northern Virginia, so he was arrested by the FBI. So this is not someone who's able to escape the jurisdiction of Durham. And I think, out of a probe that is people question whether or not anything is going to happen, this is
all going to come out.
This is a big part because these are the guys who were closest to Christopher Steele.
The entire premise of the investigation against President Trump was that he was colluding with Russian nationals. Remember that? In order to sway the election. The indictment reveals that it was actually Russian nationals that lied to the FBI about their communications with the Clinton campaign.
A Russian national who's worked for now an indicted top Clinton attorney, and so he's got the access there, and one of their fixers, one of their PR fixers, who Charles Dolan, who was named here as basically the secondary source.
Okay.
So this has got it's the entire Clinton world that came together here.
It's a web of lies and deceit that includes the Clinton campaign, the Democratic National Committee, the FBI, the Russians, the FBI, and the legacy media who pushed this story.
This was a collusion scheme for sure, but it was a collusion scheme that was run directly out of the Clinton campaign, and maybe even worse than that, Jay. As bad as that is, it was aided and abetted by the FBI.
This web of deceit was spawned by the deep state, the FBI, the CIA, the Clinton campaign. These entities, including the FBI and the DOJ and the CIA, ignored evidence right before their own eyes. Why? Because they had already reached a predetermined conclusion.
Wes brought up a really good point, and that was about Congressman Adam Schiff and his public giant pronouncements.
Adam Schiff said he had definitive proof of collusion between the Trump campaign and former President Trump and the Russians. So the reporters really need to camp out of his office door and ask him, what's going on here? Because this is collusion, all right.
Yeah.
It's collusion on steroids by the DNC, by the Clinton campaign, by the FBI, by the legacy media, and by the members of Congress who were investigating the president and said they had proof.
There is not going to be a reckoning for Adam Schiff here. For his, I've got definitive proof, when its definitive proof was of the Clinton campaign.
I don't see that happening inside the House of Representatives. I also don't see a reckoning happening for the FBI down at the DOJ. I mean, you talk about Adam Schiff, Jay. I would throw into that camp James Comey and Peter Strzok. Look, we're supposed to believe that the seventh floor of the FBI and the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee were somehow duped by a D.C. policy wonk. I mean, look, Jay, I like D.C. policy wonks. In fact, some people would say I am one. I'm okay with that. That's fine. But look, they were not duped by him. We cannot give them that benefit of the doubt. They were willing participants.
We all lived through this. And now you look at it and you say to yourself, first of all, how did Bob Mueller miss this? I just, or his team. How they just, the guy that gave the information in this dossier that remember that James Comey had to privately brief the president-elect on this salacious material, and Brennan said, do it, but don't do it in front of all of us. And, James Comey, what a fraud in this whole thing. I mean, he signed these warrants and approved them.
Hopefully more indictments will flow out of this investigation so we will have the full revelation of the depth of the deep state and their commitment to falsity.
So this whole time, I just want you to step back and realize an actual Russian national was working with the Clintons in the Clinton campaign and the Clinton law firm, Clinton campaign attorney, on the dossier.